Glendora was 3 hours with him at trial, and he still does not know what is going on. Glendora wants her money back, both the $20 rip-offs, which is equal to $40. We're up to page 25. Glendora has encountered over 100 obtuse judges, but this one has to be close to the worst. And it took him October, November, December, January, February, March, and April to spit out this addled 4 pages. Move. Herein, Glendora moves that Wood's April 30th paper is a nullity. New York State judges have 60 days to rule on a motion. Wood missed it by 120 days. Plus. Now this is Civil Practice Laws and Rules, section 2219. A judge has 60 days to rule on a motion. That's a cardinal. I gotta stop and give him some bread. Hold on. I gave him some on the south lawn. Give them this day their daily bread. I ordered 2 pizzas from Mark's Pizza in Valencia last night. $30. And they were terrible. So I gave those. I gave 6 slices to the raccoons, and then I gave another 3 slices to the raccoons. And they certainly emptied the boxes. Back to no good Wood. His papers must be stricken. It is null and void because the judge has, what, 60 days to make a motion, and he took on 180. This is a procedural disposition. However, Glendora continues her refute, Wood's having no decisions of validity on the merits. Further, anathema, Wood violates New York State Uniform City Court Act, section 1801, et sequitur. This is a small claims case, and it should have been over in 2 weeks. He doesn't even know this. The small claims, a guide to the small claims in New York City and New York State City, Town, and Village Courts. Couldn't even read that. And here it is, folks. I'll have to get up and bring this around and show it to you. It says, the purpose of small claims court is to have cases quickly decided. The Small Claims Guide of the New York State Office of Court Administration states that the judge shall mail the decision in 2 weeks after the trial. And no good Wood mailed it 27 weeks after the trial. So hereby we have Wood in violation of the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of New York, the Civil Practice Laws and Rules of the State of New York, and the Uniform City Court Act, section 1801. I guess that's a few laws that you violated, Mr. Wood. Glendora says, now let us scrutinize this again. As for the plaintiff's claim against Savarino, the court finds that all branches of the instant claim that seek recovery based upon the requirement of local sponsorship are rejected as having been decided and rejected by the federal courts. See Goldberg versus Cablevision. So I guess we've taken care of that. That's a flat fall on your face. We have here a double reject. Wood takes this out of context. This is its bad 3. This is not what the Goldberg case said in that it does not mean what Wood is trying to make you think it means. And of course, West will print only Wood's side, and you read it and you say, oh, this makes sense. But it's all lies. That's you, West. You're going to be sued with the rest of them. Wood copycatted it from a liar for hire named Sorok, a Park Avenue lawyer groveling for $5,000, Brogdonagnian in Lilliputian, Bads 4 and 5. The site is not law. Judges do not make law. It is merely another bad decision by a bad law clerk, signed by a bad judge. Actually, it was not signed. Actually, it is a sham. The so-called order of the appellate term, Angiolillo, Rudolph, and Tannenbaum, was not signed. So it's a nullity. Wood is standing on a nullity. A paper is not an order until it's signed by a judge. And in this case, 3 judges, and not one of those 3 signed it. I don't blame him. If Glendora has to go over every word and every Wood misapplication and misapprehension twice, this is going to be a very long paper. Indeed. I wrote 100 pages against Wood, but I also had to include 600 pages of record that he tried to cover up. Not only cover up to you, the reader, but to cover up to the visitor of the court who would want to go see the record by returning the record to me. But Glendora's job is to make a record on paper and on television and all over the world. On the internet, www.achatwithglendora.com, youtube.com/Glendora. Arduously, this is being done, but monumental it is and will continue to be. Wood uses the term, quote, legal theory, unquote. A theory, quote unquote, can be a theory only when it is a proven hypothesis. Quote, that Glendora is damaged by chasing away her signers and coerced to get new signers is actual. It's not virtual, it's not potential, it's not theoretical, and it's not hypothetical. It's actual. New. The only issue that Wood had to decide is, quote, was Glendora damaged substantively by having to replace signers, expending hours, dollars, and ergs, quote, unquote. That's all he had to decide. Yes, she was. He had 100 times more evidence than he needed, 100 times more proof. Why did he do that? Is he just a puppet? I'm pretty sure of that. Did somebody tell him to do it? I'm pretty sure of that. Who told him to do it? We're standing up for America, and all the people who are devouring America told him to do it. The gangsters who have taken over our courts. Well, I asked the question, was Glendora damaged? The answer is categorically she is, and was. Prima facie she is and was. The chasing away of signers was presented in circa 15 letters by Savarino's own hand, and Wood didn't acknowledge it. In her own hand, Savarino chased away the signer by her letter to the signers. And she did this in about 15 cases, and these letters were all presented to Wood. Did Wood even mention it? No. Because it proves Glendora's case. Poor man. The new signers on record are proof that they replaced the extorted signers. Therefore, wherefore, and ergo, this cost hours, dollars, and ergs, which are substantive damages, and Glendora was not given substantive relief, which is all you can get in small claims court. Glendora did not receive substantive justice. Glendora did not receive substantial justice. If no good Wood had done his homework, this matter could have been adjudged in one page. We all know it happened. We all know it cost money. We all know that Glendora was damaged. No matter how much Wood, liar for hire, and Savarino obfuscate, the facts do not change. No matter how much Angio Little, Rudolph, and Tannenbaum lie, the facts do not change. The law does not change. And we might add, their bad record does not change. Now we go to some more Wood writing. And we are up to page 33. And our goal is to go to 40 and take a break. And at the moment, let us rejoice. We rejoice that it's Memorial Day, Saturday. We rejoice for all the great things the people who have passed on have done for us. We rejoice for Franklin F. Buell, for his mother and his father. And we rejoice for Ralph Arnold Folsom and for Edna Crockett Leathers. Says Wood, however, the plaintiff also appears to allege a claim for tortuous interference with a contract. Tortuous interference with contract requires the existence of a valid contract between the plaintiff and a third party. The defendant's knowledge of that contract, the defendant's intentional procurement of the third party's breach of the contract without justification, and actual breach of the contract and damages resulting therefrom, is what Wood says. Now listen to the holes in that. Glendora does not allege any such thing. Reading comprehension, something you're supposed to learn in high school, if not first year college. This is more misapplication and misapprehension, and omission of homework, and failed reading comprehension, and constitutional violation. Primus, there is no validity of contract between the signer and Savarino. A contract has to be signed by both parties. Glendora's signer signs it, but Savarino never sends the signer the paper signed by Savarino, nor by Savarino's underling, Masterilli, and does not send it by registered mail, return receipt requested. So Savarino does not have a contract with any signer. Ergo, Wood's lines 6 to 13, his page 2, have no application that is, they are misapplied and misapprehended and miscomprehended. You want me to read you those pages again? However, the plaintiff also appears to allege a claim for tortious interference with a contract. Tortious interference with contract requires the existence of a valid contract between the plaintiff and a third party, the defendant's knowledge of that contract, the defendant's intentional procurement of the third party's breach of the contract without justification, and actual breach of the contract and damages resulting therefrom. I did no such thing. Sick man. Very sick man. No good Wood. Infra, lines 6, 7, and 8 are the same. Ibid. And then he throws out a case, Fusco versus Fusco. Who cares? Cases are not law. Judges do not make law. This is just another bad decision by another bad judge. Congress makes laws. New York State legislature makes laws, but judges do not. Judges can't do what they're paid to do. $150,000 a year, circa. They can't do what they're paid to do, which is to enforce the law. Additionally, this is not law. It is only another computer spit out. Computer spit outs are washouts. There are just as many pros and cons. It means nothing. It is just another bad decision by a bad law clerk, ghostwritten for another bad judge. We are up to pi. And Wood says, here, for the reasons stated by the appellate term above, no contract existed between the plaintiff and her local signers. This is not an issue, Glendora says. This is not an issue in Glendora's case, a contract between me and the signer. Wood is being ignorant. Page 36. The clerks are ignorant. Sawrock, liar for hire, is ignorant. Glendora did not sue for breach of contract. Wood is obtuse. Wood has no metal. Glendora sued for damages, the cost of replacing the extorted signers with new signers. This little pussycat was going across the road. Yeah. And when Granny called her, she came back. Yeah. See that car that went by, .com? It could have killed you. It maimed you. It hurt you. Yeah. Going to give you some tender bits when we get up to page 40, okay? Here's your kitty cat, Mary Ramage. You want to sit on the table for me? Look at all these are elm trees. God, there's things in billions. Back to no good wood. Glendora did not sue for breach of contract. Wood is obtuse. Wood has no metal. Glendora sued for damages, the cost of replacing extorted signers with new signers. Again, is that so profound, hidden, difficult to comprehend? Simply adjudicate it. Their adumbration and obfuscation backfires on them. They use it to hide from the issue, which is the gravamen, but it actuates in showing how obtuse, dull, and stupid they are. Wood says, notably absent from the plaintiff's testimony was any consideration given to defendant Sulaco in exchange for her sponsorship of the terms of any agreement, or terms of any agreement, both of which are necessary elements of a, well, my dear Wood, there are no considerations allowed in public access. Public access is to be without money and to be without considerations. You don't know that law either. And this is not the issue with Sulaco. I am not suing for breach of contract with Sulaco. I'm suing that Sulaco is an accessory of Christine Savarino and her agent, Cecilia Mastrovilli. That's what I'm suing on. Just a minute, folks. .com's going toward the road again. Glendora sued Sulaco not for breach of contract, but for aiding, advocating, assisting, backing, countenancing, helping, seconding, supporting, sustaining, upholding Mastrovilli, Savarino, in causing Glendora to incur costs in finding a replacement. You know, even a third grader could understand that. Replacement was DeCrenza. Sulaco was a replacement for Ecock, extorted by Mastrovilli Savarino earlier, and before that the nice Italian man. Contract is not the issue with Sulaco nor DeCrenza. Consideration, unquote, quote unquote, is not the issue. How dumb can a judge get? That's you, Charles D. Wood. You readers will see when this case goes to the appellate term that they will get even dumber trying to cover up for Wood. 38. Wood says, therefore, the plaintiff has failed to meet the burden with respect to a possible tortious interference claim against Savarino. I never made such a claim, dummy. I never made such a claim. You poor man. Confused, unsound, muddled. Glendora had no such burden in the first place. Wood has failed to meet his burden, fully familiar with the facts and circumstances. His paragraph starts off with, for the plaintiff's claim against Savarino, the court finds. And then it's all about Sulaco. Even a bowl of spaghetti could not be this more entangled. And he has already dismissed against Sulaco with ungrounded, unexplained, conclusory I guess a dribble from the appellate term. No good Wood has not met his burden. Adjudication. The court skimped so severely on toner that Wood's paper is hardly legible. The toner is as faint as his content. And now we are up to Tau, page 39. Says Wood, let me show you this toner, how faint it is. My copying machine gave it a little strength. But look at that. Finally, it is noted that the plaintiff was provided with a full opportunity to present her small claims case in excess of 3 hours, and upon being unprepared to present documentation pertaining to damages by way of receipts, she was granted the 2 weeks to submit the same in the court, to the court, with copies to the defendants. Instead, the court received 7 volumes consisting of 360 pages of handwritten pages followed. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Let's go to handwritten. The Constitution of the United States, which you have never read, Charles D. Wood, read it sometime, is handwritten. The Constitution of the State of New York is handwritten. The Declaration of Independence is handwritten. These things you don't know. And Glendora says, your attention please. What about the circa 17 letters in Savarino's own hand chasing away the signers? Does Wood mention that? Does he read them? Does he decide the case on that and that alone? Which should have been done? What about the odd dominant of hours in mileage and dollars? And Wood, who showed up in court unprepared? It was you, Wood. You never read the case. You hadn't even read the decision that Duran made. We are up to page 40. Who refused to say he would read the record while it was in the hands of Judge Arthur Duran III? It was Wood who would not say he would. What did Wood do about the fact that the lead defendant was too scared and too guilty to appear at her own trial? He did nothing. What did Wood do about the default of decrension? The answer is nothing. What did Wood do about the default of Officer Lewis? Answer is nothing. He lied about it, is what he did. He said they weren't served, when the court itself served them just the way it just served Sulaco and Savarino. He just lied. And judges do that all the time. What did Wood do about the $20 and the legal papers that the clerk lost? The answer is nothing. And now we are up to Upsilon. Sarok called it Upsilon in court instead of Upsilon. And this is Wood, page 3, and Wood says, by several subsequent mailings of hundreds of similar and duplicate pages. Well, they have to be duplicate because you don't read them the first time. And I'd never have to do this if you'd read it the first time. I wouldn't have to do 700 pages again if you had done your job that we taxpayers finance, and the vehicle and traffic RICO finances. By several subsequent mailings of hundreds of similar and duplicate pages penned in late November and December of 2006. And the case should have been decided 2 weeks from October the 25th. Even though copies of a few receipts, Wood says, were included in those pages, none proved her damages traceable to the defendants. Where's your proof? This is nothing but conclusory. Where's your argument? Where are your grounds? And then you go off into another superficial and supercilious paragraph. We're up to page 41 and we're going to take a break. It's 11:45. I rejoice over this call. I rejoice that you're sharing it with me. I rejoice for 11:30. Is that we have at least, well, we have a blue sky, pale blue like this. I rejoice that we've been called to stand up for right. I rejoice that no good wood is not going to get a double negative, is not going to get away with this. What do you want to rejoice about 11:15? I rejoice that we have you, a TV audience. I hear from all over. Same terrible things. That you haven't got justice. You went to court believing in court because that's what they taught you in school, and it isn't there. And you people who have never gone to court, I hope you never need a court because they aren't there. They've been kidnapped. And what did we rejoice at 11 o'clock? That this is such a great universe. We rejoice about the vastness. Now rejoice about the variety. The variety of plants. And Johnny, don't you get your gun. The variety of insects. The variety of people. Every person has a voice that you can detect and distinguish. We rejoice about the variety of colors. If the frequency or wavelength of a color changes just the slightest bit, you've got eyes to detect it. On and on and on. Millions of things to rejoice about. I'll see you shortly.
We had a marine supply place up here in North Troy.
We did?
Stark's Marine Supplies, yes.
On the Hudson River?